Henry, God bless you and welcome.
Hey, brother, how are you?
Hey, life is good, man. I was just introducing people to who you are and letting them know that for years I've been talking about frequencies and vibrations that we're more than flesh and blood. We're actually vibrational frequency, and it's so important. And I gave them a little bit about your background. Well, why don't you share a little bit more bio to our listeners as to how you came to do this kind of work that you're doing around frequency and vibration that
Yeah, well,
led you to create Soak.
right. Well, all my life I've been around people, and I've always loved helping people. I was talking to a guy the other day, and he gave me a great compliment. He said, "Henry, every entity that I've ever seen you get involved with, it's always been something to do with helping other people." And my bio is fairly long. I've lived a pretty good life and traveled the world, wrote books, created different types of companies, and they all led to this point in my life where I want to reach out and really show people how they can improve their lives and what I do personally to help my own life. And I guess a combination of all those entities, doing a tech company, being all over the world, being all in all Apple stores, representing people at the United Nations, doing all that. I mean, doors that were open, Michael, that I couldn't have opened myself. I just sort of walked through them. And when I came to know Soak, they were first in a clinic for about 5 years, and I noticed everybody in there was happy and joyful, and sure, you had your day-to-day problems, but I noticed things were different. And when I started reading and studying about everything being frequency and vibration, and you have the capacity to operate at a lower vibration and experience things like anxiety, depression, low energy, or you can up that vibration and have peace, love, joy. I mean, everything you teach. When we first met, I go, man, this is my brother. Like, he knows this, and I just loved it. So it really intrigued me, and I dug anything that I do. I do it as excellent as I know how. I like to dig in. I like to get people much smarter than I am around me. And after reading the science behind all of this and the studies and everything, I thought, man, this is for me. So the operator of that particular clinic, she had proved out the concept for 5 years, tons of testimonials, all this great stuff. But people were paying, 800 a month, 1,000 a month to get these frequency type treatments. And she said, can we take this online? Can we make it accessible 24/7? And not, and I don't mean to be giving a pitch. You just asked me what brought,
Yeah,
how
but
I got here.
I think it's important that because I wanted you to talk about the fact that these, first of all, we're going to talk about frequency in a second, but I wanted people to know that there was a clinic in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right,
Oh yeah.
where people
Yep.
actually went to this clinic in person, and instead of getting surgery and pharmaceutical drugs, they got frequency healings. And what
Yes.
you're saying is, when you went there, you saw the attitude of the people very high, but I imagine people also had testimony to recovery and rejuvenation and healing, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, it was amazing when you realize that everything holds a frequency. A vitamin C pill holds a frequency, and if you can get a frequency treatment that enters into your body without having to cross the blood brain barrier and all of those things, it's you mentioned this to me last time we talked, Michael. We're going to look back years from now and see how archaic
Right.
our medical whole situation. And I'm not dissing doctors. There's a place for them. Certainly, I go to a doctor, I get an annual physical and all that. But I think it's going to be archaic when we know that we can get these things through frequency, and they're non-evasive. They're not. And then to take that a step further, what drew me to the clinic when she said, let's take it outside of the clinic. Let's make it mobile. Let's make it accessible from any mobile device. I thought, I don't know if that's possible. It took us 2 years, and Soak was born. I mean,
Right.
that's when we started talking, and
Right.
you'll just have to shut me up about it because I get very excited.
No. We're going to give them all the information. Let's talk about frequency for a moment. I mean, I know how I defined it. How do you define a frequency? I always teach, you know, that we are vibrational beings. That's who we are.
Absolutely.
And that we emerge from the eternal presence of God,
Yes.
and we're a frequency of that has a bit of information that's unique to us.
Yes.
But love, peace, joy, wisdom, and harmony, these are universal.
Yes.
But they're also vibratory frequencies.
Yes.
And so speak to us about that a little bit in your own way.
Yeah, so everything has frequency. Your orange, your apple, your table, your organs, your blood vessels, like everything emits a frequency and vibrates at a certain level. And when you're going into day-to-day life, those frequencies can sort of be impeded by feelings of depression, anxiety, stress, low energy. That develops into, things like low libido, headaches, like all these things coming at you. And when you fully realize what the frequencies actually are doing in your body, and that everybody's frequencies are oscillating at a certain speed and a certain form, and our goal is to get those oscillations aligned cellularly with your body, because we believe everybody's fearfully and wonderfully made. I think the body can heal itself. I think we're powerful. We're so much more powerful, Michael, than we ever give ourselves credit for. We were truly fearfully and wonderfully made. But when we experience these things like anxiety and depression and stress, it starts to get us operating at a lower frequency. And you start, you've seen people, when you walk into a room, you can change a room either one way or the other. Like if you come in like with your personality and your presence, when you get up on the stage at Agape, you're like, hey everybody, how you doing? I bam, bam, bam. And like, I'm all of a sudden excited. But if you came on stage and slumped your shoulders and said, hey, how's everybody doing? Like me even doing that as an example makes me depressed.
Right.
So, but that's the difference.
Then of course, with lower frequency, when the vibration is lower, then the condition for disease is there. We're mainly water. So that water gets imprinted with those lower thoughts, those lower emotional patterns. That water gets imprinted with depression and anxiety. And then if that becomes chronic, then you're talking about a symptom emerging. You're talking about a disease. You're talking about pain. You're talking about a certain pattern that is not God ordained. It's not, we're not put here to suffer. We're put here to reveal and reflect the presence in a way that only we uniquely can. So I know you would say that this is why it's important.
Yeah, at our full capacity.
A high mental vibrational state.
Yes. No, your frequency is what you think about frequently. So,
I like that.
So when you have that certain things on your mind that you're thinking about, and this is part of the whole SOAP protocol, is getting positive affirmations. I know you believe in that. Coming in every day, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. You can have what you want. You're attracting money today. You're attracting abundance. And that stuff sends out a certain signature to the universe, and that frequency starts to circulate and starts to happen. And all of a sudden, you start living the life that you've been thinking about. You're starting to live the life that you've been talking about. The power of life and death is in the tongue. My father's a pastor, so you're going to hear some Bible quotes from me. But the power of life and death is in the tongue, and whatever you speak becomes.
Right.
And that's so exciting. Your friend, I got to say this because this just reminded me of it when you said we're our body is 80-something% water. Like your friend, Dr. Bruce Lipton. Right. I was listening to one of his stories, and he was saying how we're comprised of about 50 trillion cells. Now think about this. Each cell has a negative and a positive charge. Each living cell has a negative and positive charge, and there's 50 trillions of them. So you combine a negative and positive charge with 50 trillion cells, you've got a battery. Right. Every little battery in each cell, and they've proven this scientifically, emits about 1.4 volts, which is hardly anything, but it's a volt. Now, take those 1.4 volts times 50 trillion cells. We've got 70 trillion volts coming from us, from our cells. Right. Absolutely. So when we are frequency and frequently aligned, like what we do, those cells can emit that energy. So now when you walk in a room, you feel someone's presence. They say your energy field is 3 to 6, sometimes 10 foot around you, sometimes even further. But when
Right.
you walk into a room and even when we're talking this distance, I feel your energy, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I get that. So
Yes.
there's so much science behind it, and there's so much practicality. You want to just tell the world, and I'm glad we're doing that now.
Well, absolutely. I mean, going back to the scripture, it says that if if your eye is single, your body is full of light.
Yeah.
You absolutely, the body is actually an optic nerve.
Yes.
That with all these trillions of cells, when they're vibrating at that higher frequency, you emit luminosity through your
Yes.
auric field.
Yes.
And everyone, and everything that you teach, everything that I teach, is we're trying to get people to stop looking outside for the answer,
Yes.
and to lift their vibration,
Yes.
lift their frequency. That's what prayer does.
Yes.
Prayer is the first wireless technology.
Yes. That's right.
What does real prayer do? Real prayer lifts your vibration.
Yes.
But the soak, and tell us about the soak and the sympathetic resonance, because we're talking about using this to lift our frequency, even in moments where we feel kind of down.
Yeah, no, that's so important, and that's probably one of the main points of this whole conversation. Is we kind of come off the science of sympathetic resonance. So that means when something's resonating on one level, like the tuning forks. Have you seen those examples of tuning forks?
I
Where you
use that
hold up
example a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So you hold up for your viewers. If you hold up a tuning fork and you cling it and it starts to vibrate, you can have another tuning fork right here. You cover this one up, and without even touching this other one, it's vibrating just like this one.
Right.
They did another example in Carnegie Hall, and they played a chord on a piano at the front of Carnegie Hall, and then they stopped, and they had another piano at the back of Carnegie Hall. They walked back there, put a mic into the little place where all the chords are, and it was resonating that same sound all the way. So that's sympathetic resonance. So what Soak has done, we find frequencies that will lift vibrations, that will lift you out of anxiety, that will lift you out of depression, that will lift you out of low energy. And we play those. You can play them right through your headset. You can listen to them on your phone. And when you're listening to that frequency, Michael, it changes the frequency that you're oscillating in your body at a cellular and cellular level. Okay? So
taking my word.
So if I'm depressed and from being in clinic for 5 years, we figured out the frequency cocktails. This is nothing like you go on YouTube and listen to something all night long to try to help you sleep. Binaural beats, stuff like that. This is the opposite of that. If you're having trouble with depression or something and you're vibrating at a low level, we've come up from our in-clinic practice to find the exact frequency mix. Some people call it the exact frequency cocktail, where we've used tones and tunes and cadence and pitch and volume and all of that to give you that perfect frequency. And when you listen to that through your phone, whatever modem you have, whatever medium you have, when you listen to that through your phone, it starts to make your lower vibration in your body change and come up, because the law, Michael, the two frequencies played together will always rise to the
highest level. Absolutely.
So that's exactly, and our frequencies, when you listen to them through your ears, and I know you've been using them for the last 8 months, 9 months.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to share that. I've listened to them. I can feel the difference, and I like the sleep well one before I go to sleep, because I have an intense, busy days, and so I'll pray and I'll meditate. But sometimes when I'm about to go to sleep, my mind is still making itself available to new information. You know what I mean?
And well, you're oscillating at a higher frequency.
Yeah.
And so so what I just said, if you're depressed, it'll bring you up. If you're oscillating at this higher frequency and you want to come down and sleep, we've got the frequency that you listen to that brings that down. But my point is, when you introduce a frequency that is unrelenting, that does not change, and this is what soap frequencies are. We take these mixes that we've brought out of clinic that are proven. You listen to that mix based on what you want. You want to come out of depression, you want to relieve anxiety, you want to sleep better, and another 30 different things that we do. But you listen to this because it does not change. When you play it to yourself, your frequency can change because it's controlled by emotion. A digital frequency cannot change because it's digital. It doesn't affect. I can cry, I can yell at it, I can do whatever. It will not change. It will keep playing at that higher vibration. When you play it to your body at a cellular level, your cells listen to that and start to raise their frequency to match it, because everything goes to the highest frequency, and bam, you've got your answer.
Absolutely. So this also then, when the frequency is raised, then the thoughts that you obtain change. So your thinking pattern begins.
Oh my gosh.
And when your thinking pattern begins to change, then your future changes.
Yes.
This is, I mean, obviously we teach the same thing, but you're teaching it from the frequency vantage point.
Yeah. Yeah. And what I love, Michael, I love in the Bible where, Jesus did all these wonderful things. He walked on water. He healed the sick. He could raise his vibration to such a level that he could walk through a wall, because he was operating at a higher vibrational level than that wall.
Right.
So when Jesus's disciples came to him, they asked him a question. They didn't ask him how he walked through the wall. They said, "How do you pray?" Because every morning he would go off, pray, and he would come back in power. He would be in power and in might. And so he comes back and he says, "This is how you pray. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven."
Right.
Michael, there's a frequency playing for you right now from the source, from the universe. There's a frequency playing for your life right now that when you resonate with that, sympathetic resonance, when you resonate with that, all of a sudden your mind becomes clear. Your cells and your soul comes to homeostasis so that you can operate as the human God made you to be on this earth, fearfully and wonderfully made, full of power, full of might, being able to heal yourself, being able to hear yourself. Right. And all of a sudden, decisions aren't hard to make anymore. Yes, I should be with that person. No, I shouldn't be with that person. Yes, I should open that business. No, I shouldn't. Why am I here? Those things start to come because we're cellularly and cellularly, it's a hard word to say, aligned, Michael.
Right.
And I love that. So I think of this thing that's playing for me out there that I resonate with, and all of a sudden my whole life has changed.
Right.
So, and I know you teach that as well, but that just hit me hard when you said that.
I've been saying this for years, that we're vibrational beings and we're here to lift our vibration. This is what prayer does. This is what meditation does. This is what Qigong, Tai Chi.
Yes.
Study, high conversations with high-minded people.
Yes.
True spiritual fellowship. As you say, your frequency is lifted. And everybody here has the example of somebody walking into a room and they are a killjoy. They don't even say anything, but the energy gets sucked out of the room.
Yes,
because the vibration is so low. Or a person walks in the room, he or she doesn't say anything, but everybody, it's like a light just walked in, a joy and happiness and harmony. It's time to party.
Yes.
So I think everyone knows about vibration and frequency, but maybe not consciously. So what we're bringing them to awareness is that, when you pray, when you use soak, you're actually lifting your frequency. The water content changes. It's imprinted differently. Tonic chemicals begin to flow through the body temple. The condition for disease evaporates.
Yes.
As I've teach, the body can heal anything if the condition is right. And that condition is toxicity must be eliminated so that the body can do its thing.
If you want another awesome video in our Black Excellence series, check out the video right there next to me. I think you'll enjoy it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there.